Welcome to Winging It. We're doing deck upgrading today in Arkham Horror the card game. This is Zoey and Daisy on hard going into Before the Black Throne. A notoriously difficult scenario for me, so I'm going to be doing some drastic things that with my 6 XP that I may end up regretting. But anyway, the one of the things about Before the Black Throne is that there's not very much to fight. You do have the mindless dancers that that you kind of have to take on, and other than that, it's cultists and acolytes and things like that are fairly easy. So you have to wonder what your guardian is going to do, and I've got them set up to where Zoey is mostly combat, like 90% combat. With a few, like scene of the crime and evidence here, and Daisy is all investigation. And I wanted to tilt Zoey a little bit more towards investigation. So what I'm going to do is actually take out her 2 luckies, which is pretty painful because you want some grace, and her stunning blow because I want to utilize her flex spots to go more investigating. So we're going to take 2 Sixth Sense, which is going to allow her to investigate using her willpower. Now, the thing about that is, a lot of people really saw Sixth Sense as like, oh, now Zoey can investigate. The thing is, investigating at a 4, it still is not that great, and so you got to have willpower boost. We have guts. We don't really have a lot of other ways. Of course, Xavier would get her up to a 5. But we'll have to rely a little bit on Daisy boosting us with Encyclopedia. But maybe we can also help getting clues on Zoey, in addition to, of course, scene of the crime and evidence. And then kind of a classic splash card for Zoey is Drawn to the Flame. So we're going a little bit more mystic here. I would have actually preferred to get rid of the Meat Cleaver, but I didn't want to go down to 2 weapons in the deck. Like, we're still going to need to kill a cultist and things like that. So, and then finally, I am going to bow down and to the inevitable, and we're going to pick up a Charisma, and this will just allow us, if we manage to draw, and have the resources for Brother Xavier and Beat Cop, we can get them both out. We're probably going to need them for soaks. There's just a lot of incoming damage from Azathoth in this one. So that's where we're at with Zoey. Spending 3 XP just to switch level 0 cards around doesn't feel great. But ultimately, I think this is a deck that's going to be able to pick up a few more clues. I think she's got what she's needs to for fighting, honestly. She can take out a dancer if she needs to. So, we'll see how that goes. She can hit with Daring and Enchanted Blade and a few other things. She should be okay. And, of course, she'll still be able to heal horror and damage with the Hallowed Mirror. And, of course, Soak It with Brother Xavier, even for Daisy, and use Dodge to prevent it, and Fool Me Once to potentially stop Ancient Evil. So she's got a lot of Guardian type things to do, but I just wanted to give her a little bit more options than just fighting. All right, so let's go take a look at Daisy. All right, now Daisy has again 1 holdover XP, so she's got her 7 XP to spend. Because there are, normally I don't, in two-handed, I don't take upgraded deduction, because there's just not enough locations with, clues that will trigger it off, to get, 3 clues at once. Like, there's just so many 2-clue locations. But there are definitely some High Shroud multi-clue locations that we will be forced to run into in this scenario, and I know where they are. So we're going to go ahead and spend 4 of her 7 XP to grab 2 deductions, which will slot right in over her existing deductions, of course. Now I'm going to do something that feels kind of bad, but I kind of knew that it was going to happen anyway, and that is that I'm going to remove the 2 shortcuts. It's 4 XP that I'm just removing from her deck, because they're just not very useful in this last scenario, since the locations go away, you're not going through the locations very much, and of course now that, it's just... I mean, it could potentially, they could be there and be useful if, you go through that middle a lot of times. But it's, it's just a resource to play it. And if we have Pathfinder and, Safeguard out, I just don't think it's going to be necessary. So we're going to take out that 4 XP worth of cards, and we don't get it back. We just have to leave it at some cost. But I think the shortcuts did work for us. I mean, we used a lot. We saved a lot of actions with those. So we're going to go ahead, because there's just some brutal treacheries. We're going to go ahead and take another Ward of Protection. So that is there. You just draw so many encounter cards in Before the Black Throne. There's extra ones when you flip the act. There's an extra one for the lead investigator when you flip the agenda. So having a way to ward some of those is going to be good. And then the other thing, this is a card that I don't like to normally take in two-handed just because it's not reliable to go off. But in my experience Before the Black Throne is you go through a lot of cards. So we're going to go ahead and take Stargazing, which allows you to put a beneficial card in the encounter deck. The reason I don't like this in two-handed normally is because just often you won't see the encounter deck enough to draw this. But if we can get it out early, it definitely will allow us to have kind of a power turn, and it's really good. It gives whoever draws it a resource, a card, and an action. So we're going to go ahead and grab Stargazing and stick that in there. That's kind of, we given that we had this 1 XP just kind of hanging on, we probably should have taken it a while ago, but we didn't. So here we are, spending all our XP, and again, feeling a little bit bad that we got rid of the shortcuts, but I just don't think they're going to be useful enough to justify their deck slots. So anyway, that's where we're at, and wow, let's go play Before the Black Throne.